Slow. Here we go. If you're on LinkedIn and YouTube, thank you very much for joining the Job Scam Report on Substack. And if you want to find out more about me and subscribe to the newsletter, I publish every Tuesday and have been doing so for more than a year now. And the podcast has been coming along as well. And as you all know, if you want to catch it later, you want to download it, you can download it from Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music, and of course, Substack. Again, my name is Mark Anthony Dyson, and I should have asked how to pronounce his name, Michael Schuemack. Is that correct?
You did. Yeah, you got it right.
Okay, all right. Identity IQ is his company. It's a cybersecurity company, technology innovation, and financial intelligence. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. And you were telling me you're coming out from California. Are you getting a lot of hot weather where you are?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're hitting in the hundreds right now.
Oh, oh no. Okay, so I won't complain about the 85 degrees here in Chicago. I'm sure that might be a cool breeze for you guys up there by the shore. So we're talking about job scams, and basically we want to get into, and maybe you can give us a little clue by what you do by this particular question. You guys monitor scam activity, or are you involved in the behaviors of online bad actors? Is that a good way to assess it, among other things?
Yeah, through our platform, we monitor the activity of these bad actors and what's going on. We get reports in from our membership base on how they're being impacted and affected by these scams and what's happening. And so because of that, we have a good feel for what's not just what we research and see in the industry, but also what's impacting our current membership base.
Gotcha. In your experience, do you often see what's coming down the pike as far as trends, or is there a particular way you monitor trends and can anticipate how they're going to respond to the booming technology, layoffs, any surges in hires? Do you see that before it comes, or you're seeing it in real time, or you're finding out after the fact? I guess it depends on your membership and how alert they're helping you be.
Yeah, there's a saying I'm sure you've heard, there's nothing new under the sun. And so scams like this have been going on long before AI and long
Yep.
before this digital presence. And so there's been job scams for a very long time. For us as an organization, we know what typically you would see as a scam historically. And so
Mhm.
when you see technology advancing, especially with AI and other technologies, we're able to say, okay, this is going to be applied in these manners and understand maybe how somebody would act, but it's not verified until we start getting calls. When we start getting calls into our call center or our fraud department, our fraud team is real good about alerting us throughout the organization, letting us know, hey, you know what, we're seeing a spike in calls for this specific reason. We may want to put some more emphasis on it and start looking into it a little bit more. And so because of that, we have our eye on the gauge of and the kind of the pulse of what's happening. And we're able to feel and see where things might be moving and take a good guess at that.
Okay. Are you monitoring the online social platforms, any at all, particularly like LinkedIn, where there's a job board and a social activity as well?
We definitely, yeah, we LinkedIn, especially for the job boards, we see a lot of scams that do employment scams that do come through LinkedIn or even Indeed, and
Mhm.
really anywhere that you're posting jobs. For a long time, it was Craig. We were seeing a lot of job scams coming through Craigslist, and there's really any platform. I think I want to make that clear. Really, any platform that someone
Mhm.
could post a job in, you could see this type of scam.
Gotcha. Are you also looking at TikTok and WhatsApp, where there seems to be another great surge?
Yeah, all the social media platforms. The thing about most social media platforms is that the information being provided, there's not a lot of
Mhm.
verification on what information is being said. So any anybody could be saying anything they want and get a following, and they're recognized as a source. And so it's not like they have
Mhm.
to be verified and validated as a legitimate source for what they're saying. It's an open
Mhm.
forum to say what you want and to really put links out there. So a lot of these platforms are doing a good job of trying to police it themselves to understand, is this scammy or is this not? Could this be malicious job link or is it not? And through their own technologies, I think that the social platforms are trying to combat it, but it's not as effective as you'd want it to be.
Gotcha. So you watch the behavior for the most part, how bad actors are. What draws them to certain people? I know there's been a lot of discussion, especially on LinkedIn, as we well know, about the open to work banner and those being one of the things that they're attracted to. They seem to be attracting because of their AI bots and the technology they use to infest the platforms. They're they are attracted to, or they seem to draw attraction when there's certain words that are mentioned in different posts. That's the way it looks to me. Like the other day, I put something that said scammers within a post, and then there were a couple of them that kind of showed up inadvertently. And there was one time we had a LinkedIn Live, and we were talking about scamming, and myself and my panel was watching scammers in real time, trying to move in on one of the viewers. I know they're watching as well because ultimately there is a live person behind the bots. But am I safe to assume that there might be certain keywords even without a hashtag or at sign that find their way to potential victims?
The keywords that somebody could trigger in on would be open to work is a big one, but there's also
Mhm.
certain jobs that and backgrounds that people are scammers are looking for. They're
Mhm.
looking for entry level. They're looking for somebody that's looking to maybe do a side hustle. They're looking
Mm.
for somebody that I wrote a list of them here down that might be high turnover type fields, tech or healthcare, virtual assistants, or that's a big one.
Remote work.
Marketing, data entry,
Mhm.
those are all fields that can be targeted. And it's mainly because in those fields, you're not there may not be multiple interviews for a job. And so somebody wouldn't be expecting to have multiple interviews. Maybe they're looking for a job that's fully remote and it seems like it's a good position to make money at home, and I can work from home, I can have my own schedule. And so somebody that is already in that mentality would be somebody that would be a good target for a scammer because they're looking for, how can I make that extra dollar? Or I'm at an entry level. And so I don't even know what the job market should look like.
So they're driven larger in part by social engineering for the most part. Are there trigger words, the feelings that people have that like their stress, there is anxiety, depression, all those things. Is there, are they perhaps they can seek that out too and target those who may be feeling that way or a group of people that might be feeling that way?
They can target that way. And a lot of times that interaction will start with a message that you receive. So you receive a message on LinkedIn, or a lot of text messages are going out now. I get text messages at least, no lie, 2 to 3 times a day from
Yeah.
potential recruiters saying, or a bot telling me, I found your information on LinkedIn. It looks like you'd be a great fit for this position. Just click this link. And
Yeah.
so that if I respond to that message, or if I respond to a message that says, hi, how are you?
Mhm.
And then they know that they have a live body on the other side and that they can probably interact and engage with me. And so to get the emotion and to understand the sentiment of how somebody's feeling, a lot of time that engagement starts with a message, and you'll
Mhm.
receive a message that seems promising. You've been looking for work for a very long time, months, and you want desperately to hear back from somebody. You get a
Mhm.
message that says, hey, I'd be a great fit for this amazing position that sounds really good. And so you start interacting and engaging, and you start revealing how you're feeling and what, where you're at in life, and revealing information that can be used really to harm you.
Right. Is there any kind of thing that job seekers can do other than I talk a lot about avoiding and probably have published all these different anecdotes as to how people can avoid. One, they can block once they realize it to block and report them. I don't know how much reporting is doing these days in the bigger scheme, but it seems that LinkedIn is playing whack-a-mole in the sense that when you hit one account, you have also enabled two others, it seems like. Does that appear that way to you too?
Yeah, I do the same thing. I block as many as I can, especially if they come across text message. But the next day, I'll
Right.
still receive more text messages. So it is a game of whack a mole if you're trying to just block. The best thing to do is, one, if somebody's reaching out to you and it seems like it's too good to be true,
Mhm.
definitely research that company and maybe even call the actual corporate headquarters or find them online so that you can call an actual number and verify if it's a real position or not. That's one of the best things. Two, you should never pay for any kind of guides to
Right.
employment. And that's the other thing that scammers are trying to get. They're trying to get personal information from you if they're scamming you, or they're trying to get into your bank account to get, or have you pay for something and get money from you. And so just keep that in mind. Like, you should never pay for the 10, here's your guide to the 10 things that you can do to be better in this profession, or to get this job, or to get this job you need to have this training certification, and here's a link to pay for it, and the next step after that would be us interviewing you. That's never the case. No
Right.
legitimate company will have somebody there that they are interviewing pay for a guide or a certification
Mhm.
during that interview process. That's not going to happen. And
Right.
so you should never pay for any of those things. And you should be very cautious of filling out any forms if you've just been reached out to online and it seems like a too good to be true type of position. Always research those companies. And I would immediately go and Google any company that reaches out to me on LinkedIn, look at their corporate site, check them out, and then maybe even just reach out. Or most legitimate site or companies have a job board on their
Mhm.
website. Go check it out. If that job is on there, then perfect.
Yeah. And here's an angle I want to talk about with you as well. What you're seeing, and I don't know how if you're getting tipped off even from like fake job descriptions or fake website content. Does Are there any signs that a job seeker can look at or notice on job descriptions? I know of many, but you might have a different perspective, or there might be a trend where there's certain websites or certain content on websites and job descriptions or job postings or Indeed that might be considered a red flag where you just say, "Oh, I'm not going to even put my name in the hat." And be bothered with this job posting or job description.
I don't know if there's necessarily a trend, but the red flags for us are the things that I mentioned. If it
Mhm.
says that you need to pay for anything, or if you need a
Right,
special
right.
certificate, that is always a red flag in those job descriptions. A lot of times they don't even put that in the job description. It comes as a follow up. In the
Right.
job description itself, if it seems like it's been generated by AI, or if it's too polished, then that's always a red flag for me. If most HR companies will use some sort of maybe AI to create their job descriptions, but a lot of times they're not as polished as they normally would be. And they always go back and they put in things that would be specific to that company. And so you want to
Mhm.
look for things that would be specific to the company that that you are applying to, so that you understand, does this seem like it's too good to be true? Is this job description way too polished? Does it just trigger like a red flag in my head? Like when you're reading things, you have an internal sense. Am I reading something that was generated by AI? A lot of
Right.
people these days have seen a lot of AI content,
Mhm.
understand if they're reading something that was generated by AI or not. And so that's always a red flag. Just you need to trust your instincts on some of that.
Is there a tool that you could think of that maybe like a Chrome extension, or maybe there might be an app that could detect something. For instance, like Grammarly has their own tool within Grammarly where they can detect whether something has the writing or the text that someone's using is AI generated or has patterns of AI generation to it. Is there something that you know of? Or maybe that should be something somebody should create. I know there's different schools will even have something that will detect that there are some patterns like that. Is there anything you could think of that, or anything that might be useful for a job seeker?
You can grammar. I think Grammarly for the general population is probably one of the better tools because
Mhm,
people have it and use it. But there
mhm,
are other tools. There are like forensic tools that can detect whether or not something was written in AI. There, you can download apps on your iPhone that allow you to detect that.
mhm.
There's scam tools that you can dump your emails or content into that will tell you if it was an AI generated scam or not. And so there
Yeah.
are quite a few tools. And if you want, I can follow up maybe even with a list and you can post it to all of your.
That would be great. I know that AI, like ChatGPT, you can drop, like someone on TikTok dropped a mobile description of what they received, and it gave them like a whole bunch of reasons why it was a scam. The content just seemed scammy. So I know that's something basic that people can do. Unfortunately, to the propensities of a lot of job seekers, they don't go that deep on context. And I'm trying to implore them to make the extra step or two or three to ensure that they're applying to something legitimate at least.
Yeah, you know what? I this day and age, it's I think everybody needs to be an expert in AI almost, though, or at least
Yeah,
understand the basic level of it. You can't be afraid of it. If you're
right.
afraid of it and you just say, I'm not going to learn anything about this because I don't like it, then that's when you're going to be taken advantage of. And so it's better to be educated on everything, whether you like it or don't like it. You just need the education. And that's really what we're trying to do as an organization is create better awareness.
Mhm.
People understand what to look for. And even if they've only heard it one time, in the back of their mind, they'll say, you know what? I heard this guy talking about it. And maybe that's what this is, especially when they're looking for a job. And these are the red flags that I remember hearing about. And so that's what our goal as an organization is, really to create that awareness so people understand, they know that they should be looking for something.
Mhm.
And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of it. Knowledge is power. It really is.
I do think we're trying, and I'm trying to, as well as some of my other colleagues are trying to educate the public because there's no, too bad there's not a scam killer app, so to speak, other than to stop a text from strange text from coming in broad that would just shoot down scammers. There's no such thing at this particular time. So people do have to be defensive minded, and the offense is the best defense because if you do the work beforehand, you're not going to be tempted by an offer that is too good to be true ultimately. Michael Schuemack, it's okay for people to follow you on LinkedIn, or I know you don't have a YouTube page at the moment, but it's okay for
Absolutely.
them to follow them, or would you prefer for them to follow the company?
Follow our organization. They can follow myself and the company as well. Where we do have a YouTube for Identity
Oh, do
IQ.
okay.
We do, yeah, and we are all over social media, and we post tips and tricks. This job scam issue is huge. From 2020 to 2024, it went from 90 million in losses to 501 million in losses, according to the
Yes.
FTC. So it is a big deal, and people should be on the lookout for it. So I appreciate you making time and bringing awareness to this.
For sure. It's something I feel like I'm obligated, having written in the space and worked in space for so long, that people deserve to have a safer job search. So there we have it. And thank the rest of you. For those of you who are going to probably catch the replay, the job scam report, you can find that on YouTube as well as most of the other platforms as well. And you can go to markanthonydyson.substack.com to subscribe, where I give you weekly updates. And I look forward to giving the updates coming here on Tuesday, every Tuesday morning. So you feel free to subscribe and get that. Even consider getting to join the paid community, and you'll get even more tools that I have there right now. Michael, thank you very much for joining me. And the rest of you, thank you very much. And I'm out. So we'll see you next time on the Job Scam Report.
Thank you.
Thank you.